Happy ending? Huh. At this point, I'll settle for a bad beginning. Hi, Ugly. It's me, Bussarella, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. And today, we'll be reviewing episode 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World. Our queens were challenged to serve 3 looks in the happy ending ball. Lady Prince Charming, She-Vil Queen, and Rags to Riches. Looks they conceptualized and created in the workroom using scraps of shiny fabric. We've got 30 looks to break down, and I'm turning into a desperate slut at midnight, so let's get started. In the order they hit the runway, first up, Conda, who's giving us a little pink and green color story for her Lady Prince Charming look. And my first thought was Fairly Odd Parents. Cosmo and Wanda thought they were slick, but nothing gets past me, except a man. And this one to me was interesting. I actually really liked the mustache in her look because her makeup is so hyper feminine and she's a very pretty queen that the mustache just looked like a silly campy old time. And generally I think everything happening like chest up was really strong on this look, but when we see the full look, the full fantasy, I'm not so sure. The cape like opens up to this really scrunched up top and pants that are coming together very oddly, fairly oddly, you might say, there in the middle. The final presentation for me is gonna be a for her She-Vil Queen look, she turned it back around. This feels very classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Evil Queen to me, which I enjoyed. But I guess she's also a witch because she has a wand. I like the drag of the beehive, the tiara, and that really high collar coming around her neck. And look is pretty, if a bit simple and on the nose for the brief. So I'm gonna give this look a hot. And finally for Rags to Riches, the look she created there. She tapped into that green and pink color story that she was using in her first look. And the impressive thing about this look is she mostly or completely hot glued all of the details, which is pretty crazy considering she really did achieve a very clear shape and silhouette with this gown. The idea of this is very fairytale princess going to the ball, and it has all the whimsicality a fairytale look needs, but I really do not like the color combo or the intense sheen of this fabric. It's very much giving that shiny insulation material they use in attics, like in your AC ducts or like on spaceships. Not to mention she's got all these mice glued up and down the dress and a nod to Cinderella. All things considered though, I'm gonna give this look a warming up. Next up, it's Blonde. James Blonde, who says in her first look she's serving Lady Prince farming. And I think she was going for a kind of Vivienne Westwood thing with the plaid and all the strange piecey cuts of fabrics put together with those white ruffles. And for me, this might have been okay if it were just those elements, but she's also got this sash with all these buttons on it that we can't read, and then a white ribbon on the other side that says Prince Charming. To me, it looks like a mismatch of references that are not coming together in a clear story. Plus she's got this really punky hair that looks very out of place, and overall, kind of giving me like the pile of laundry in my room that I haven't folded in a week. I don't get it personally, maybe you do, but for me it's a for her She-Vil Queen runway, I was gooped and gagged. I immediately clocked this was a look made by Bunism or Bunny B Fly from Drag Race Thailand, which you can tell with the use of those signature crazy cutouts and tendril-like pieces all over this look and beautiful craftsmanship and all the stoning and color. Most importantly though, this look is hitting the evil brief, but the apple was kind of confusing for me. I mean, yes, she very obviously is carrying the apple because of Snow White, the evil queen, the poisoned apple, yada yada, but it's just like a giant plain apple. And I think it would have read a little bit better had she stoned it or, I don't know, painted some black on it or something to tap into that evil stuff. The other small issue here was she was having a little wardrobe malfunction by the end of the runway. The top bodice piece was coming down and exposing her fairy tales. Maybe that was intentional. Either way, this look was super hot. And finally for Rags to Riches, this look was mostly confusing to me. I really did not understand what she was doing, where her references were coming from, or how it all did or didn't come together. I think thematically though, it did connect to the first look in the sense that it was also giving piles of clothes sitting in the corner of your room, staring at you, begging to be folded. Like, I did not understand all the gathering of this skirt duvet that she has on in the back with this little sparkly top. It just wasn't giving what was supposed to be gave. Or was it? Either way, this look for me is a and next up, say it with me, Arantxa, Castilla-La Mancha, whose first look is a little homage to David Bowie, immediately recognizable with that hair and the lightning bolt eye patch. I think for a gender-bending runway brief, this was a smart choice. It just left a lot to be desired in terms of execution. The first thing that jumped out to me was the wig, and you know, while I think stylistically it's right, it is really wearing her. It's just very shiny. And the red sparkly overalls or chaps, whatever you want to call these, were a little odd in terms of fit. And the way all the different patterns of fabric came together around her chest and neck was kind of messy. So yeah, this looks a rot. And her second look is very much a sequel to her great reference for Execution Fairytale. Like, I knew instantly when she hit the runway what this was with that pink shirt that says a little bit dramatic. I am, after all, a millennial gay, and Mean Girls is like 50% of my entire personality. But this look, is like, I don't know, the definition of doing too much. There are pieces in this that are great, like the pink bodice in this outfit, and the idea of this giant campy fluffy pin she's carrying to write in the burn book that is her cape. But the giant black buttons on the cape were kind of confusing to me, and the fabric she used to make that was giving a little bit like giant oversized fleece blanket that I keep on my couch to snuggle up with and watch a movie and less runway. I think had she taken 1 or 2 or 10 steps back and really just done a really chic, sexy, hot pink gown with a little bit dramatic on the front, cinched and pinched for her life, and Little Mermaid skirt at the bottom, this would have been such a serve. Plus, we all know Regina George would not have been caught dead in these chunky heels. This look for me is a rock. And finally for Rags to Riches, she says she's giving us emo girl going to prom because her mom is making her. Not because she wants to. It's not a phase, mom. Emo's a way of life. And again, with the references, like I love where her head is at in terms of pop culture. I totally get this emo scene kid punk girl with that sideswept pink bang, poofy teased back hair. Like girl, I have several of those wigs. She's sitting right back there, asking why I haven't put her on in a while. We'll talk later. But she's having another issue here where the hair really feels like it's wearing her, and the gown she's created just doesn't really do her any favors in any realm. It doesn't really fit in any form or fashion, and the cuts are strange. So this is, yes, another rot for Miss Arantxa, but I'm gonna choose to erase these from my memory and just think about that amazing look that she wore on the runway last week, because where was that Arantxa? She turned it out. And next up, a list of questions remain. Tia Kofi, what's in the dossier, and what's in the quiver? For Lady Prince Charming, she's giving us a little Robin Hood realness. You'll notice all 3 of her looks tonight are red, which was an intentional choice to honor and pay some respect to Cherry Valentine, her season 2 sister, who unfortunately did pass a few years ago. May she rest in peace. And this look, in terms of the brief, I think fits that idea of like childhood storybook fairy tale thing, but I'm not so much getting prince out of this at all. Like I don't recall Robin Hood being a prince, but I've also cleaned a lot of VCRs in my life. So who knows? The fit of everything she's got going on here is nicely done. It's nicely tailored, but also like giving boy and baggy a little bit with the proportions in the pants and top. Plus the armor pieces I think look really nice in that brown against the red. The only thing I really hate about this are those black pleaser boots. The obvious thing to do here would have been a brown leather boot to match the brown leather on the rest of the look. But maybe she left them in the dossier. This look is gonna be a safe hide. And for her second look, she's giving us a Tisket a Tasket, an evil queen carrying a basket, which is mysteriously smoking and had me really actually wondering what is in that basket and why is it on fire? But actually who cares, because this gown is sick. I love this look. It fits her like a second skin, and I can't even imagine the pain that she went through to get into this. Probably had to grease her entire body up, or the pain she's experiencing wearing it because it's such a hot material. And for all the mothering that she mothered with this mother look, I sure as hell hope she gets her happy ending, because this look is hot. And her final look was not as good as her second look. And I think that was great that she was honoring Cherry Valentine with red in all 3 of her looks, but I think maybe a mistake stylistically to do a really sickening the house down boots yes god red gown right before an adequate red outfit. And to her credit, this look certainly is better than the one she created on her original season, especially in terms of proportion and getting the length of the skirt correct. But I was missing some kind of spectacular, wow, you know, whimsical fairy tale moment in this, and it ultimately to me is reading a little bit as like sexy towel with a sequin cummerbund. Oh, Tia Kofi heard me. But yeah, worse, this look is just not that exciting, and I'm gonna give it a warming up. Next up, La Grande Dame, who, oh my god, I think was the first queen to absolutely slay the Lady Prince Charming category. And she says this look is paying homage to the French fashion houses like Schiaparelli and Gaultier. But girl, I don't care what scrap pile this came out of or what the goat was eating, this look is awesome. Like all the shapes in this silhouette are so fun, and the hips and the shoulders, and that giant campy hat with the little mustache she's painted on. In a bigger sense though, I'm actually not sure what the outfit is referencing, like maybe marching band or train conductor, but wherever this train's going, it is hot. And for She-Vil Queen, she gagged me again. Girl, this is a queen full of surprises, and I think that's what I love most about her. We don't know what the hell to expect from her, but it's always fierce. Or at least yodeling and drooling onto the runway dressed as the xenomorph from Alien. I also love that anytime she's about to do something objectively awesome, we have this confessional from her that's like, yeah, I felt like I was really taking a risk here. And you're like, okay, the humbleness. We love a humble queen, but just own it. It's a serve, and you know it. This look was, I really don't even have a word for it, but we'll say hot. I do agree with the judges' critique about losing her a bit though, because I don't think this look would have suffered had she had just done some crazy alien makeup. Because with the mask on, it really is just like full on horror movie, but it is what it is and it was what it was. And for a final rags to riches look, she is giving us some shiny gold lame gown, which I do think maybe more than any other of the created runways there taps into the rags to riches thing. Like, this woman looks rich. She kind of has that 90s Versace glamour Vegas-y vibe going on here. And I like the details of the pearl beading and the way the dress hit the floor, but I didn't really gag as hard for this look as I did for her first two. It was just kind of there. Like, it is a pretty gown and it's impressive she made it. But for all the risks this queen takes in drag, this just felt kind of safe, but definitely still hot. And next up, she might just be the drama. It's Scarlet Envy, who in this look says she is giving just slayed the dragon realness. Sure. Impressive, I think, that someone finally caught it, which I guess explains the shredded pants and singed cape. And this is kind of Roman Gladiator meets Mad Max meets spent a lot of time in Burning Man. This is a festival goer, is what this outfit is. Honestly, so criminal that Drag Race put Keta's look right after this one, which we'll get to in a second, but jail. I didn't understand why those shorts were riding so low. Like, girl, anything could have popped out. And the proportions of the armor pieces are not big enough to match how much she has truly elongated her torso with this silhouette. It's a rot. But for She-Vil Queen, she starts to make a little comeback here. She says she's giving angry Mother Earth. And I kind of get that with the tree branches and the tights. More importantly though, I think she has a really solid silhouette here and clear direction of something kind of evil-esque. The headpiece, phenomenal. But it's almost too safe. Like, I want more evil. I want more backstory. Like, who is this evil queen and what fairy tale is she from, if any? Which, like, don't get me wrong, she looks fierce and beautiful and all that stuff, but I want a little more drama. But the look is hot. And for a final look, pause for the big reveal. Girl, I don't know what that little brown tarpy scrappy bag thing that she was covering herself with was about, but the actual look was phenomenal. This was one of the best in this category tonight. Maybe the best. Like, someone truly captured that Cinderella, Glinda the Good Witch, fairy tale type of fantasy look, and it's so gorgeous. The amount of fabric that she had to put together to make this and, you know, all the construction underneath it for it to hold that big bell shape, wow. Plus the through line of her literally wearing rags for the first look and looking rich as hell as a beautiful Amazon Cinderella princess here. This is hot. And next up, where's your K? Here's your K, special K, there's the K. Keta Minaj. And her first look, as I already alluded to, was a serve, a gag, a show-stopping moment, I think, for this episode. Wow. Y'all, look at this. It perfectly, I think, taps into this gender-bending lady prince fantasy and is basically everything Scarlet was trying to do but failed at. Like, the way she makes all this beautiful frilly pink tulle with these gorgeous, perfectly proportioned armor pieces is just sick. It's sick. I'm gonna vomit. I'm so sick. It's very medieval Joan of Arc meets My Sweet 16. And honestly is giving Miss French Fashion House a run for her money in this. This look is hot. And for She-Vil Queen, some of us tame dragons, some of us chase dragons, and Keta Minaj rides the dragons. She here on the runway is doing the old riding the horse Halloween costume trick, but, you know, with a dragon. And the dedication to this is really incredible. I don't know how the hell she got this through customs, but it certainly is a fun look. The issues I had with it were the dragon almost looks too nice. Like, I want a more evil dragon. And I didn't love that when she turns to the side, you really see all this billowy black plain fabric. A pattern or some kind of richer texture there might have been more visually interesting because the runway is not just head on. You also see side to side and from the back. The angles that I, Bussy Queen, will never show to the camera. Trust me, y'all don't want to see those. But this look overall, definitely hot. And for a final look, she's giving us young witch going to the ball for the very first time, which I guess explains this headpiece, which I think maybe is supposed to be a pentagram or something. It honestly could have done without it because it just kind of looks like giant pipe cleaners. But the black dress is cute. I don't like the belt in the middle. It looks a little odd there. And I think the cape, shawl, sleeve thing she's doing is fun. Kind of like Grande Dame though, I don't love that she went so safe here. I'm really missing that fairy tale, whimsical. Like, even if she wanted to keep this evil, I think this could have been a lot more glamorous. And so I'll give it a safe 3 flame hot. Next up, Gothy Kendoll. In her first look, she is very much giving me like British Prince. She definitely accomplished that fantasy with the silhouette here and that polka dot collar thing happening. Some of her looks, and this I would say is one of them, take a second with me to really grow, because the fabric choice I thought was kind of odd at first. It's like maybe apple orchards or something, and I didn't totally get the story of why there are like feathers in her beehive, but the gold bow is so beautiful on the back, and really there is not a single hair out of place on this look. It's so immaculately well done. So like, sure, could there have been a more interesting concept? Maybe. Or maybe there was hidden in that beehive. We may never know. But this look certainly was hot. And for a She-Vil Queen look, she is inspired by Snow White and Cruella de Vil, obvious with the white and black hair there. Plus an on-the-nose nod to the brief of She-Vil Queen with the red apple she starts out with on the runway. And take notes, prop queens, she has an apple that is fully rhinestoned. Maybe the apple is from the apple orchard fabric on her first look. I get the story now. I get it. And this black velvet, velour, whatever, can be, I think, really difficult to look so expensive and rich and just perfect fitting. Subtle, but perfect in every way. This look is hot. And finally for rags to riches, this girl here in this pink pastel gown, who's giving very Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, is, I think, the exact opposite of this evil Cruella queen from her second look. And this was another one of my favorite looks tonight. It is so cute. Like, also something that I never expected Gothy to do. She just normally does a lot of severe looks, and she even talks about how she intentionally chose this pink and shimmery green pastel-y fabric to step out of her comfort zone, and it paid off. This look is hot. And next up, we take a trip down under the sea with Marina Summers, who for all three of her runways gave us a little aquatic fantasy. Her first one giving the love child of Little Mermaid and Elvis Presley, and this look certainly is very pretty. She looks great. The question I had though was, how does this really fit the brief? I wasn't really getting Prince. Like, I think the Elvis hair curl thing was kind of an accident. But she looks good. It's a safe look. I would give this a hot. And for She-Vil Queen, she really did this. This is wild. She says she's paying homage to an evil dugong queen that she grew up watching. And I don't know if she meant like a dugong that she was watching on the piers as a child, or she meant some TV show or Pokemon. I don't know. I think though, had I, and I'm guessing the judges, known the reference that she was referencing here, it would have made a lot more sense. Because without that, girl, she's just dressed as a fish. That said, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the weirdness of it, so I'm gonna give this look a hot. But finally, in Rags to Riches is where she really brings it all together. She's very much giving Ariel got her legs and said, I'm not gonna attend the ball, I'm gonna crash the ball. I'm gonna be the queen of the ball. This gown is immaculate. And she actually says this is the first dress she's ever made, which is crazy, because in terms of design looks, this really, I think, could be in top 10 of all time. It is so gorge. It truly is a fairy tale ball gown, and the way that it comes down with the blue being a metaphor for the ocean crashing into the white fabric at the bottom like white caps was really, really smart. See you at the pier. This look was hot. And finally, Choriza May, who's giving us a little matador fantasy here. And my favorite thing about this look actually is that mustache she's got, and honestly, giving me some ideas for mustaches in drag. We'll circle back on that. I also love the rich purple color, and I think she looks good in this look. I'm not totally sure where Lady Prince is coming into play here. Like, there very well could be some kind of matador fairy tale Lady Prince Charming reference that she's making that I missed, but it's still cute, so I'd give this a safe hot. The second look though was certainly a first for the RuPaul's Drag Race runways. She comes down in a purple gown with this rhinestone bodice that has, when you look closer, the details of an owl in the middle, and she's carrying a scepter with an owl at the top that is smoking, like not just fog machine or dry ice smoking, but full on billowing purple smoke behind her and throughout the entire set. Like, I was shook that they actually gave her the go-ahead on this, considering how smoke can really mess with capturing something on camera. Like, it can start to look very blurry. And I think that anything, I was just kind of like, okay, she's doing that. Her explanation, by the way, of what's going on here is this is the owl queen who sent the owl to attack her and pluck her eye out for that one runway that she was telling that crazy story about to the judges. Besides the owl and the smoke and the lore of it all though, this look is okay. I'll give this look a hot. But for Rags to Riches, girl, she says she's giving us ugly sister going to the ball. I gagged when she said that. said, oh, the self-awareness. But look, she at least did create a gown that has a shape. The biggest issue with this outfit though is of course the fabric. It is atrocious. This is possibly the ugliest printed fabric I have ever seen in my entire life. And there must have been something wrong with the way she created the skirt because she's holding part of it bunched up on her waist, like the entire runway, and kind of passing it off as like part of her runway walk, but there was clearly some issue happening. And then she's got the cage bird prop. Like, what was that? The lore of Choriza May. I need her to write a book. I need a full explanation, okay? Because these little confessional snippets are not cutting it. Girl, the cage bird isn't singing, she is screaming for help. This look is a rot. As for replacements, the judges give top 2 to Grande Dame and Keta Minaj. And this really shook me because it feels Drag Race tradition is to put a lot of weight and emphasis on that third look they create there. And neither of these two had a big wow moment for me in this category. And for queens like Scarlet, Marina, and Gothy who really turned it out in this final look, I'm sure it kind of felt like a slap in the face. But I don't think it can be denied they had some of the most memorable and interesting first and second looks, which I suppose explains the placements. For bottom 2 though, Arantxa and Choriza May, I did totally agree. There's a lot of missed opportunity here from both of them across the board. And concerning the lip sync to Every Time We Touch, I did react to this as well as the ball over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. And you can join my Patreon, support the channel, and watch all of those exclusive reaction videos by clicking the link in the description of this video. See you there. But the outcome of Grande Dame winning here felt very correct because Keta Minaj gave a really great performance with a lot of energy and jumps and splits and tricks. But Grande Dame gave us energy and comedy because there is kind of like a silliness to this track that she really tapped into with like DJ miming and stuff. And she proved once again she has an endless amount of tricks in her metaphorical trick bag. She's silly, she's goofy, she's not like the other girls, and she got the win. And finally for Hottest Hots, in the Lady Prince Charming category, I'm gonna give it to Keta Minaj, She-Vil Queen, Tia Kofi, and Rags to Riches, Marina Summers. I also asked my patrons to vote on their Hottest Hots, and they voted for La Grande Dame, and Scarlet Envy, respectively. And finally, I want to say thanks so much to you for watching today's video and give an extra special shout out to Skylar Schrack, who's just joined my Patreon at the Bussy Queen Collector tier, as well as Ashley Bungart, Child Free Mateo, Dorothy Hall, Felicia, Laura, Matthew Burns, Sexy Winnie the Blue, Stephen Topher, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at the Bussy Queen Collector tier over at patreon.com. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.